Let's now review the list of fonts that are installed on most Macintosh and Windows systems. These so-called browser-safe fonts are few, but they can be used with confidence, as you can safely assume that most of your visitors will have them installed on their systems. The key here is to choose browser-safe fonts for clarity and legibility. Choose fonts that look good not only on your computer, but also on others. For example, how legible is your 11-point Times text over on a colleague's PC? What if you need to render some information in italics? Does your chosen font display well on a Macintosh? And so on. So let's look at the browser-safe fonts available at the time of this recording. They're all displayed here. Let's consider why some might be more useful than others and what kind of websites each of these typefaces best suit. Let's start with Verdana. Verdana is a font that's usually available on both the Macintosh and Windows systems. It's very legible and copes with smaller font sizes very well. It is devoid of those extraneous curly bits called serifs. Notice that everything is straight. And 99.9% of web users will have it installed on their machine, particularly because it comes bundled with Internet Explorer. Use Verdana for a government site or for perhaps a blue chip business or a Fortune 500 website. Georgia is next. Georgia is a serif typeface. It does have all those curly bits at the edges of the letters. It's a web designer's favorite because unlike most serif fonts, Georgia has been designed specifically for the computer screen. Its italics, which are usually clear and legible on the screen, are a major bonus. Use Georgia for informational or educational sites in which text dominates the content. We now come to Times New Roman and Times. If a font has the word Times in the name, you can assume it will give the impression of a newspaper typeface. This isn't always a good thing because these are not normally screen fonts. This is another serif font. Times New Roman is intended for PC platforms, and it's hinted especially for the screen. That said, many would argue that Georgia supersedes it. If you want a particularly legible serif font for your website, better to go with Georgia. Times is the Mac equivalent to Times New Roman, but it's not designed specifically for computer screens. Times New Roman or Times are often used for online newspapers, magazines, or for financial websites. Arial, like Verdana, is another sans serif font. This one lends a very modern feel to websites. It's very widely used, but does not work very well at lower or smaller font sizes, and there's not much default space between the characters, so it can look a bit crowded. Helvetica is the Macintosh equivalent to Arial. Helvetica is yet another sans serif font. It's regarded as a superstar typeface in the real world, but faring not so well on the computer screen. Helvetica or Arial are common on many modern media company websites. Tahoma is another very common typeface. Tahoma resides on any computer that has Microsoft Office installed on it and is thus available to most of your visitors, but it bears an uncanny resemblance to Verdana and is therefore not as often used. Next we have Trebuchet. This is a great screen font. It was originally designed for use at smaller sizes than for most other fonts, which usually means this font has a less unique subtleties. It's great for menus and for button labels. Still, Trebuchet manages to convey a contemporary feel in a limited space. It's a very stylish choice that ships with copies of Internet Explorer. Use Trebuchet for your personal portfolio and for menus and navigation systems. Courier is a bit unique in this collection in that it's a monospaced font. This means that every character is the same width, just as you would find on a traditional typewriter. This means the characters line up vertically as well as horizontally. Courier New is the most common monospaced font, but can appear faint when anti-aliased at smaller sizes. Alternatives to Courier are Lucida, Lucida Console, which is on the Windows machines, American Typewriter, which is the Mac version, and Monaco, which is also a Mac font. Use Courier or its alternatives to display computer code or to simulate typewriter text.